वेलकम टू हैप्पी इंस्टीट्यूट यूट्यूब चैनल। आज का डिक्टेशन जो है वो मैं सर कैलाश चंद्रा जी की किताब से दे रहा हूं, ट्रांसक्रिप्शन नंबर 4 उनकी बुक का। ये पैसेज मैं 80 के ऊपर डिक्टेट कर रहा हूं, जैसे हम हर वीडियो में कर रहे हैं। डिक्टेशन के बाद में इसी पैसेज का आउटलाइन और एडवांस फ्रेजोग्राफी सारा हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं। तो ये बड़ा यूजफुल वीडियो है। आप डिक्टेशन लिखिए, अगर आपसे लिखा जाता है उसको ट्रांसक्राइब करिए और उसको कंपेयर करिए। अगर आपसे नहीं लिखा जाता है तब भी आप आउटलाइंस को दोबारा ध्यान से देख के उनको प्रैक्टिस करके फिर दोबारा लिखने की कोशिश करिए। जितने भी नए वर्ड्स आपको मिल रहे हैं, जितने भी नए फ्रेजेस आपको मिल रहे हैं, उनको अलग से उतार लीजिए और उनको प्रैक्टिस करने की कोशिश करिए। चलिए डिक्टेशन शुरू करते हैं। गेट रेडी फॉर डिक्टेशन प्लीज। 5 seconds. Sir, the Essential Commodities Act was passed 5 years ago, and when the minister yesterday came with an amending bill, we expected that he would give us a brief report on the working of this measure for the last few years. But unfortunately, we are kept in the dark in regard to the exact working of the Act and the nature of the difficulties the minister is facing. Sir, as far as I know, many of the provisions of this enactment have been observed more in violation by his agents at the state level. The food minister may be very earnest, may be very able, and may be very anxious to see that the various provisions of the Act are implemented in the most effective manner at the state level, but unfortunately his agents at the state level are not equally enthusiastic or equally anxious to observe the provisions of this enactment. The most important objectives of this enactment are to control the supply and distribution of commodities and to maintain a stable price level. In regard to both these aspects, I am afraid that the government has failed to realize the objectives in view. Some time past, when there was scarcity of food grains, attempts were made to make procurement from certain wholesale merchants and from rice mills. In my own state, I know of many instances of such procurement where, after making known that certain things had to be done and certain steps had to be taken by the merchant community, nothing was done later on by the government when they found that these very orders of the government were violated. As a result of the violations, there was a consequent rise in the prices of food grains. In respect of other commodities like iron and steel, paper, etc., we see a lot of speculative activities, but the provisions of the Act have not been brought to bear on them. Perhaps no case of prosecution was launched against those people who contravened the various provisions of the Act. We are interested to know in how many cases the government have taken steps to prosecute individuals who have violated the various sections of the Act. The minister said that the powers under the Act were not adequate. We sympathize with the food minister, but I want to know what action has been taken in this regard by the various state governments. ये आज का डिक्टेशन था. चलिए अब इसी पैसेज का आउटलाइंस डिस्कस करते हैं. चलिए इसी पैसेज का आउटलाइन डिस्कस करते हैं. सर, द Essential Commodities Act passed, opposed, opposite, positively 5 years ago, again 5 years ago, and when the minister, honorable minister, prime minister, honorable prime minister, yesterday morning, yesterday evening, yesterday afternoon, amending bill, amendment bill, expected, expectation, accepted, acceptance, that he would give us brief report, briefly, working of the working conditions. This measure for the last few years, fortunately, unfortunately, again unfortunately, misfortune, fortunate, kept dark in regard to the, in this regard, exact, execution, executive, nature, natural, it is natural, difficulties facing, as far as possible, many of the, some of the provisions, provisional, statutory provisions, specific provisions, enactment, observed, observation, observer, violation, violated, agents, agency, joint, gentleman level, state level, central level, high level committee, food minister, food grains, food production, food grains production, food problem, food situation, Ministry of Food and Agriculture, earnestly, erstwhile, anxious, anxiety, various aspects, variously, implemented, implementation, again implementation, most important, effectively, manner, in a manner, in the same manner, in the manner in which, equally, equality, equity, quality, qualitatively, enthusiasm, enthusiastic, objectives, objection, objectionable, controlled, controller, supply, food supply, demand and supply, supplied, supplement, supplementary, to maintain, maintained, maintains, maintenance, stable, stabilize, stabilization, suitable, stability, suitability, distribute,
distribution, distributive, aspect, aspect of the, this aspect of the, other aspect of the, I am afraid, again I am afraid that the government realized, realistic, in view, sometime past, sometime back, some time ago, for some time past, at the same time, scarcity, admitted, were made, procurement, wholesale, wholesale price index, retail, retailers, merchants, in my own instances, at the instance, in the first instance, certain things to be done, certain steps to take steps to be taken, community was done later on by the government, founding, foundation stone, orders, ordered, in order to, in order that, as a result of the, with the result that the, as a result of which have not been, perhaps, proposition, prosecution, launched, contravention, how many cases, in certain cases, have taken, prosecuted individuals, said that the powers were not adequacy, inadequate, sympathize. I want to know in this regard what would be minority community, courts of law, High Court, Supreme Court judge, vehicles, Motor Vehicles Act, what is the safety hearing, and if the offensive, they would be otherwise acquitted, that there should be security deposit, if there is, again if there is, executive authority will have the confiscated part of the, large part of the, some parts, various parts of the country, clothing, grudge, properly, there have been discriminations apart from the ineffectiveness, where from discriminatory, favored, favorite, in favor of the favorable, corruption, desirable, malpractices, definite. I do not think dealing with complexity, complicated, in any way, handicap, technical, acceptable, licensee, licentiate, clarifications on these points. I know that colleagues, disappointing.
सो आई होप आपको ये डिक्टेशन और ये जो डिस्कशन है आउटलाइंस का ये अच्छा लगा होगा। आपको अगर अच्छा लगा तो आप इसको लाइक करिए, शेयर करिए। मैं अपनी पिछली डिक्टेशंस में भी देखा था आप लाइक बहुत कम कर रहे हैं और शेयर बहुत कम लोगों ने किया है। मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया था हमारा मोटिवेशन सिर्फ लाइक और शेयर आप करेंगे तभी होगा, तभी हम और मेहनत कर पाएंगे। तो अगली वीडियो के लिए हम टारगेट रख रहे हैं कि कम से कम 100 अबव लाइक और शेयर होने चाहिए, तभी हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा मेहनत करके और वीडियोस डाल पाएंगे। अगर आप चाहते हैं कि इस क्लास को आगे कंटिन्यू करना, अपने फ्रेंड्स में, आप जिस भी इंस्टीट्यूट में आप पढ़ रहे हैं अपने फ्रेंड्स में बताइए, अपने इंस्टीट्यूट में बताइए, ताकि लोग ज्यादा से ज्यादा इसका फायदा उठा पाएं और 2023 स्किल टेस्ट या जितने भी लोग स्टेनोग्राफी सीख रहे हैं सब लोगों को इससे मदद मिल पाए। सो प्लीज लाइक, शेयर, और अगर आप पहली बार हमारे चैनल पे आए हैं तो सब्सक्राइब करिए। इस तरह के वीडियोस हम लगातार डालते रहेंगे और आपको स्टेनोग्राफी टॉप क्लास स्टेनोग्राफर बनाने में आपको मदद करते रहेंगे। सो बेस्ट ऑफ लक।